welcome back to another episode of What If Civilization Started Over. In the last episode, we saw the War of Arabia. Also, this is not the same map. If you haven't seen the update video, then go check that out for sure. And we saw not really much else happening. There was this country formed, I believe. We also saw another daily career update. Well, this is what we're going to be starting with today, daily career update. Everyone loves this, right? I think. I don't know. But what we start off with is actually seeing the grey team make a move into the pink Korean countries, kind of exclave down here. But, unfortunately for them, they have broken out into revolution. We see the return of the orange country, just one episode after everyone's left. And also, a brand new kind of Eastern Korean country, like teal over here. And yeah, it's not a very good day for this country. They expanded too quick and now it's showing. Pink team will manage to kick back against it down here, and they're making an invasion into the northern parts of the country, along with the orange team. And yeah, it's not going very good for this grey country at the minute. Then we see sneaky old Japan. Yes, they're going to get involved. They make a landing where the capital is, and they start rapidly taking land around that area. As you can see, the grey team now, they will officially surrender over to the team that destroyed them. And yeah, let's take a look at a peace treaty. So yes, this is the mess of Korea after daily career update. The grey team has fallen from their prime. This new teal country, they'll have their capital here. The orange one will have this black where it used to be. And this new brown one, they got split in two. They'll have it there. And yeah, Korea is hurting at the minute. Honestly, the strongest country is probably this beige one. They used to be the weakest, but now they're the strongest. And yeah, so we come now down over here to Africa, as some countries will start to rapidly explore, or not rapidly, but explore all parts of the Sahara Desert. I say Sahara coast then, but the Sahara Desert. And yes, they will, some of them will colonise it, being the purple team. They're going to take a bit of land, although the population, as I said in the last episode, they are pretty much crumbling. They are not doing very good at the minute. Will they collapse in this episode? You find out, maybe they will, maybe they won't. But I want to say quickly before we move on to what else is going to happen. But we are very close to entering a new age. In civilization would be like medieval age, I guess. But yes, we are very close to that. The gold country is also going to take a bit of land. And by a bit, I mean they basically double their size as they take all of this. And Morocco is looking very thick right now. Also Carthage, they're going to expand more east, taking over the coastal parts of Africa and making themselves a lot bigger. Now we come over to Britain, as it's been pretty peaceful, except for the Cornwall. Cornwall's been a bit thingy. But the pink team in England, you know, they kind of got jumped by Cornwall. They managed to hold out for a bit, but now it's all coming crashing down. And they are not doing good at all. You see the Scottish country make their first moves into the country, capturing the capital actually, and they are very strong at the minute. And then we actually see Wales. Wales will make an invasion over here and kind of meet up with the Scottish country in the middle, blocking off Cornwall because, you know, they've kind of taken enough land already. And yes, this pink country will now be divided up. So the Scottish country will be getting all of this land over here, and then Wales, they're going to get all of this. Now making them a nice, it looks nicer now. The capital city will be erased, and yeah, no more English country, bye bye. And a bit of lore about these two. They are good friends at the minute. Very good friends. Yeah, but these two are good friends for the minute. And yeah, it's nice over here. But now we go to the Alliance layer. Something interesting is going to happen in Europe. This is a country that everyone likes at the minute. And and no, it's not collapsing, thank God. There would have probably been riots in the chat. But they joined the Star Alliance, which is with like the Poland and Finland and stuff. And they now rival this country, the Germans. And these two now, the relations, they're not good. They hate each other. And we're starting to see kind of like loads of tensions rising up. You know, we've got stuff over here. These two, they're not really liking each other at the minute, especially after what the red team did over in the kind of to Persia. No, not Persia anymore, in North India now, but what they did to Persia. We also have Albania, who's looking like they're on the collapse, and the Triangle team, they don't really like them. And now the Star team doesn't like the Triangle team. And now Poland has been like, why do you just drag us into this whole beef? But hey, Poland, you're a lot weaker than the Dark Red. The Dark Red unit is like number 5 in the world. But we see something interesting happening now. Also, as Cornwall will go ahead and join the Star Alliance, Weird, I know. Despite the fact that the Wales and Scotland have good relations, they just have to come and ruin it. And now these two are rivaling each other on the border, and yeah, it's not looking good. It's not good. So there is some not very good things happening in the this, I guess you could call it, Turkey. Turkey is facing a lot of unrest, even more than the purple team. And it's actually for the exact opposite reasons the purple team. Turkey, they just don't do anything. They just sit down on their lazy bum all day and do absolutely nothing. And that's why then we see rebels in the north of the country pop up over around here, wanting to kind of reform the old kind of Turkish empire. They used to have like some land going up here in like Bulgaria, then they lost that. And yeah, they're not doing great. This rebellion is actually very strong, and it's being supplied by a foreign power. And why? It's because it's very anti-red team. It doesn't like the red team. These two, they have quite good relations on the border at the minute. This new brownish country, it does not like the red team. It's a very anti-red team rebellion. They then push down and cut the kind of the blue team area. But then, guess who's going to have to get their little nose involved in this? Albania will declare war on the Turkish, I guess, beige country, cutting off the Mediterranean Sea access from this new. And they are going to pretty much have a kind of field day. But the government just does not learn. It's not very. It's like the yellow team from Aidis series. They just don't learn. They keep doing what they want to do. And yeah, the Albania is very close to dying. Like, really bad. It's bad. But we end up seeing the Turkish country then push, the brown one, the new rebellion. They push up and grab the capital. The beige one, though, they will fight back a little bit down in the south. They manage to push around this and gain some more black sea coast. Then the brown one is going to be able to take the rest of this more populated areas up here. And then they'll kind of share this with the purple team. And the rest of this over here, yeah, it's going to get beaten up. Then someone else is going to get their nose involved in this. It's going to be the Red Empire, Swiss's favourite country. And they are actually going to get a bit of black sea coast over here, and the rest is just going to go to this country now. So the beige Turkish country has fallen, and the new country, which I'm going to be calling Anatolia, has formed. And they don't like the red team, and they also don't like the purple team. So we kind of have like isolationists. They're a lot like North Korea. Let's take a look at a peace treaty then. Anyway, this new Anatolian country, the Anatolian Empire, is going to get pretty much all of the Turkish country, except for some bits over here. The purple team will go ahead and steal it, like the land gobblers they are. And the red team will have a little bit of Black Sea coast access now, so they can trade with more entities around here. The purple team, they're a very big trading empire. And yeah, stuff is starting to cook over here. We come back over to East Asia, as this Chinese country is going to take over the entirety of the Hainan Island. And they'll also expand a bit out west, yes. Expand west. And then this turquoise country, it's not very... They don't have bad relations, really, but it's weird. They have mixed relations. So, yeah, the Shandong, that's what they called, yeah. Shandong, they're going to push out a little bit, and now just going to draw some nice borders. So Shandong will end up taking all of this, like, western Chinese land. So they will be able to expand more into East Asia, you could say. Anyway, Vietnam's actually going to do something. They haven't really done anything yet except for expand a bit. And they're going to expand into the more Cambodian areas and kind of reach over here where they will kind of stop for now. But then Thailand, they're probably maybe one of my favourite countries in the series. They will expand and kind of like this new Thai country will also expand a bit more down into the tail Southeast Asia. And we see a kind of treaty, not really a treaty, but it's kind of like a scramble for this land between them and Vietnam. So yeah, we end up seeing this, a very interesting looking Vietnam in this series so far. I don't really like how it looks at north, so they're going to also expand a bit more down south, and now they look a lot chunkier. Also see a bit more exploring of Southeast Asia, the tail down here, as it'll nearly be fully explored. And they also send some boats out to explore the this area over here. Anyway, Sri Lanka is fully explored, and in a few months after that, it's colonised by the Indian country, who will also go ahead and expand up north. But guess who also wants to expand after being salty? Yes, the blue team. And what's going to happen here is a bit of like a kind of competition to get higher. Himalayas, they really aren't really in fact yet, but these two, they really don't like each other. They're probably some of the worst enemies on the map. Not as bad as the red team in Caspia, but maybe like quite bad, yeah. They're not as bad as red team in Caspia, but they're worse than these two over here. You can kind of see they don't like each other. Just say that. But we see like weird, like really bad borders over here. And the green team will kind of get cut off as well, and now they kind of have an exclave deep in the purple country, and it's horrible over here. So let's move away and go to a nice and happy place. And that's not really too happy as Portugal. They are probably my favourite country in the series. They will be declaring war. They actually shifted colour a little bit. I'm going to shift the colour a bit darker because I like a dark. Oof, that looks nice, doesn't it? Also, because the ocean is like similar colour, so yeah. They'll be going after this country, and it's not that strong, but it is able to put up a little bit of a fight as the armies all start to push into Portugal a little bit, and it's I did say that they're stronger. Like Portugal's quite a bit stronger. They're probably like, these guys are like maybe a third, I don't know, like 3/4 as strong as Portugal. Even though the capital is captured, they'll still continue to fight on. But yeah, the Portuguese country, they're going to end up now slamming a load of troops into this area. And it's kind of caught them by surprise. And this green country, they're not doing very well. And they soon get invaded on a second front by this new southern French country. And they're going to invade into this one, taking a lot of land. And eventually, after they kind of split, it's going to be a peace treaty. There's no one really living in this land. So yeah, let's take a look at a peace treaty, and these are actually going to be pretty ugly borders. So I'm seeing a very messy thing like this here, and yeah, it's messy. The Portuguese somehow have an exclave over here in the French country. It looks terrible. It's terrible. I want to leave this place, but before we do, we have to give this country a new capital. It'll be in the middle right here. And they are regretting every decision they've ever made in the history. Anyway, someone in chat wanted me to make Ireland a country in this series. And I'm not against that idea. So Ireland, the Germans will be like, we want to, like, they'll have like a kind of, it's kind of like a democratic thing. They'll say, what part of the country do you want to become? What do you guys want to do? Do you want to become an independent country, or do you want to become join up in another country like Scotland, or do you want to stay with us? Now, some areas will decide to stay, or it will become their own country. Actually, that is horrible. German country's very weird with the grey. That'll be those areas. Also, this area up here and this here. But, this part down here isn't actually going to be given. Wales is actually going to get a portion of this country. They're going to get this part down here. So, the Scottish country then is going to actually take a tiny bit of land as well. That'll be this over here. The Germans will hold on to. Actually, I'm going to make this even worse. But we see a kind of weird thing over here where there's an exclave for Germany. It looks horrible. And that's just because we've transitioned to the medieval age. There's going to be worse borders around this time. Anyway, we're going to come over to Eastern Europe. There's going to be a few things down here. One, the Belarusian country, they just formed in the last episode, but they're going to do some expanding. As I said, they do want to expand a lot. And, yeah. But so does Ukraine. So Ukraine is not going to pass upon this opportunity. And they'll take kind of what was mainly their last expansion. And they'll look something like this. They're getting pretty big, and big countries, in this time at least, not going to be too great. There's a Belarusian country. They'll take this. It looks pretty smooth, but that's fine. And Russia will, not Russia, Belarus will become a lot bigger. Anyway, Finland's also going to do some expanding. I do like the Finnish country as well, and someone suggested that we're making a massive empire. Maybe I will do that, I don't know, who knows. But they at the minute will be able to take all of this land, and they are looking nice and juicy. This Swedish country, they are probably the stronger one than the Norwegian country. They are kind of equal, but the Swedish is a bit stronger. They'll go ahead and take quite a bit of land, being all of this, and then the Norwegians will go ahead and do something like this. Now, let's note something again. These two don't like each other. It's not very good. It's probably just below these two beef, but they just don't like each other, and that's all we can say. I did have Germany discover Iceland in the last episode, but I'm just going to rediscover it. And since they lost part of Ireland, they're going to be wanting a bit more land, so they're going to come over to Iceland, and they're going to colonise that. So yes, nice German empire. They're like a North Sea empire this timeline. Did I just leak what they're going to become? No. Anyway, we come over to the kind of Central Asian region, where one of our last events of this video. This is going to start getting explored quite a lot. A few countries are liking this thingy. And yeah, we also see a lot more exploring up in the northern parts over here, kind of near Russia areas. Actually, it is Russia. We see a lot of this exploring. Anyway, let's close off this video with a kind of like a bit of a bang, because I do want to start the next off video off with a bang. Which I might do in this live stream, probably not, but maybe it's a possibility. As I think you guys maybe saw this coming, it's quite a shock, but the red team will start their invasion of the blue team. Belarus, they expanded quite a bit in the last episode. They are essentially Russia, even though they're not Russia, they're Belarus. They are kind of like Russia in this timeline. Yes, they'll manage to get this big, but is it really like worth it if you're gonna collapse? And it's the same thing with Ukraine, they are getting pretty big as well. These two, they're starting to be like a bit of a area rival, but like a what do I call it? But they have like, so there's not really a superpower in the world at the minute. There's more like just regional powers, that sort of thing. And this region over here, which it looks probably something like this is the entire region of this area. Not including Albania. But Russia and Belarus, they kind of rival each other. But now we come over to Finland, as something important is going to happen. As there is a kind of rebellion in the like Karelian parts. They get the city. And Finland, they kind of broke it the minute. They don't want to fight a rebellion. So just agree to give these guys a bit of independence. The red team, they're going to expand actually pretty quickly, which is a great thing. Like, see what Belarus is doing. And they're going to discover these islands as well. They kind of block Finland off from any other expansion. So yeah, the Finnish Empire, well, not really an empire, but the Finnish thing, they're not really able to do much anymore. Also see the red country expand a bit further into actual like Russian areas, although this is very cold over here, so they don't get that far. But now there's a new country in sort of Scandinavia. I'm just going to go on this. And we just have a few more things to do before we get to... Why is this still not... Oh. We now see a sort of lavender-ish country form around this lake over here. They will make a nice happy country around this lake and live. That's all they're going to do is live. And I did add in major cities. This wasn't during the live stream. If you didn't know, the last episode was actually in a live stream. And I forgot to give some to Hungary. I don't know why that is. I'll just sprinkle a few in there now. I'm not sure if there would be this many major cities at the minute. I'm just going to say there are, because it's quite a lot. And they will be adding more in as the series goes on. Anyway, now go down to kind of Central Asia. This is our last event before the war, I promise now. As this island is actually going to get fully discovered, you also get all these following ones around it. I make a small landing over here in Borneo as Indonesia is getting discovered. Kind of see also an Indonesian country pop up, and they kind of take over this area. So we have what's it called, these guys. Anyway, finally, let's get over here. This will be known as the War of Domination. I don't know. The red team, that was all kind of happening while the fighting was going on. So the last thing that happened was probably when the war ended over here. The red team will continue their invasion of the blue country, which is the second oldest country in the world, and the red team is the first. The red team straight away, they are able to cut off this. This is kind of like a very unexpected attack, so they're going to be able to do quite well at first. They even jump over in the Sinai Peninsula. Overall, the invasion is going pretty well, except for over here, where for some reason they weren't attacking too much. As the blue team will start to roll into this area straight away, and it's pretty unexpected. No one really expected this. They are the second strongest country in the world. Well, they have been on a tiny bit of a decline recently. There's less people. They've had a bit of a less what's it called? They've had a bit of a population decline. Egypt is stronger than the red team. I'd say red team is stronger with their military, Blue team has a better economy and stuff like that. The red team, they probably have the strongest military in the world, I'd say. But the blue team, it's not just them. There's also other countries sending like volunteer troops over to try and stop the red team. Before we move on, there's one thing I gotta mention over here. In the live stream, provinces went a bit weird because somebody told me, at first they told me to draw Sicily provinces out of Sicily. I did that, and then I had to draw another Sicily province inside of Sicily. Anyway, the blue team is doing good against the red team, but the red team is managing to push them back slightly. They recapture this major city, and overall now they're moving more troops from the front line up here. That's going to let them push back more against the blue team down here. Now this does come at a slight disadvantage, as now the blue team is able to push a bit more into these, also reconnecting with the northern Turkish kind of land up here. Kind of like the Roman Empire, the blue team is, they're like separated into provinces, so they have like their Egyptian kind of, not provinces, but like they have their Egyptian area down here. They have the Sinai area down here. They have the Arabian thing like this down here. The Turkish land like this. Cyprus is its own thing. They have like the outer land. They have the Sudan territory. And then this is just Sahara land that no one really cares about. So you can see the blue team's kind of area, like, I don't know, they're not provinces, but they are, you know, like kind of what the Roman Empire had, like they had Iberia is one thing. So yeah, very interesting things going on with the blue team. But the red team now are going to move up north a bit more and connect, actually get that major city. And I have even more of a border with this country, kind of. And this country's like, dang, there's active fighting going on. Should we get like involved? They're not going to get involved at the minute, but you know. So you see the red team take all of this land, and the blue team, it's kind of like a just an occupy, like see how much land you can get. And the blue team, what they're looking to achieve from this war is like maybe this red team colony, which that would make them huge, and something like this. So yeah, we do see the blue team also move down into the red colony, and the red team is similar to the blue team, but then like they have kind of areas. I'm not going to do this whole thing here, but they have this split up into a few things, and yeah. The blue team will actually go down far into Arabia down here. This is deep territory. And actually, like, these guys are like thin, so they'll be able to push them back quite a bit. Also, there's like they have supply lines, but it's quite far, so they're most likely just shipping like supplies, food and stuff across this sea. There's not much like fertility in this region. This is dead, like red hot desert. And there is sort of provinces in this area. I did draw a few in, but not really many. But we do see more red troops moving into the kind of Syria areas of the blue team and pushing back rather far in here. Also see another push over this part. And these countries are not really doing anything at the minute because there's nothing to do. Unless Persia, not Persia, but I'm going to keep calling them Persia. This is New Persia, this is still Persia. Unless Persia decides to join this war, there's probably not going to be much happening. So yeah, we see the blue team actually making an naval landing from Cyprus, surprisingly. It's quite a big military area, Cyprus is. They take all of this land away, over down the coast, getting pretty deep, and then they start an invasion from this part. And they're getting heavily supplied by the yellow team. They have like volunteer troops going down into there, because that's how bad the hate is between them and the red team. And the red team, they're not going to raid the yellow team yet, because if they decided to, there'd probably be a massive coalition formed against them. And nobody likes that, right, don't they? But this area over here gets cut off, surprisingly. And it looks like it's really bad for the red team at the minute. I know some people are happy because the red team apparently isn't very liked. Yeah. They capture this city, and then they start moving towards the capital area. And by the way, someone to mention, the king still lives in Metopia. This is where most of the political things go on. This is their old capital. This is just their new capital, because it's better for trade, and the red team's pretty decent on trade. They quite like trade, except for their enemies that don't like trade with them. The blue team is advancing rapidly into the more populated areas of the red team, and eventually they hit the outskirts of the capital province. And yes, now everything is bad for the red team, and they start to conscript as they're getting pushed back a lot. The blue team is able to push back against this over here, and then the red team, they'll move out and they'll send a few boats over. And then the Battle of Cyprus begins. They capture this city, and the blue team, they do want to keep on to Cyprus. It's pretty much necessary. So the red team will push into areas of Cyprus, kind of sending multiple spearheads out. This is the most detailed battle, I think. Kind of into many pockets. However, the blue team, the Egyptians, still managed to cut through this, making a pocket into a pocket. It's weird. Then see the red team, they'll cut off some troops and then move in. And eventually Cyprus is nearly fully in the hands of the red team. That is until a rebellion breaks out in Cyprus, and they're just not part of the blue team or the red team. They'll be in this colour for now. The red team will kind of send some more blue team things up, as they're still trying to gain Cyprus back. You know, it's quite a nice area. So the red team is very much focused in on the core areas of the blue team, which is over here. They really want to get to here, and that's the places they need. Then something unexpected happens, and that is the union between the red and the blue team, forming the old empire. No, just joking, not really. However, bad news for the red team, as their capital has been captured by blue team forces, and they're now rolling into the areas. One thing you could notice, so this is very far away from their main territory. It's not going too great for the red team. And they notice as the blue team forces start to near where their king is, or you know, the king who's ruling is the son of the king who beat Persia in the war. Not the one who got killed. So that's his grandson. So the one who got killed, his grandson is ruling now. After the son of the other ruler died, you know, it's really complicated. But as they near, the red team sees an opportunity to cut this spearhead off. They hit in these areas, and the blue team's like, oh god, our spearhead's gonna get cut down, and we're gonna be trapped. They start to kind of advance a little bit back, even though there's not really many messages going around this area, so they kind of just need to start going back, and that's exactly when the red team cuts off the spearhead officially. And now all these troops are cut in this area. They manage to get them all out of this as they stay in the capital area, and we see some intense guerrilla warfare fighting happen in the capital. I'm actually going to just turn off on so it looks better. The red team, they will manage to recapture this major city and then work more down the coast. That is when something pretty unexpected happens, and the new Anatolian country just formed in the last episode. The red team's not able to break this defensive line. It is one of the most defended lines in the world at the minute. But then from the north, the Anatolians somehow get invasion. It's not like a working together thing. They're not working together. They don't like each other, remember. But we just end up seeing a kind of, I don't know, the blue team will just get part occupied over here. And now it's time for the red team to start cutting down against the capital, as now that many blue team troops are stuck in here and they're not able to escape. They are blending in with civilians, and the red team will be like, nah, they just bam. They don't genocide anyone, it's just they manage to find the troops, they run them up, and they either put them into slavery or they execute them. They probably execute the generals and enslave the army. The red team will now push down, as that was 50% of the blue team's army that's trapped over there. Around 500,000 men. That is hurting a lot. You know, it was 600,000 men they had. 1.2 million, which is a big army for this time. And the red team will once again cut down, and this isn't as bad because you know you can just go poke-wise. There is another quite a lot. There's like 20% of the army in here. 5% are just being kept home, and the rest are fighting as defensive. It's now the red team. They're invading the Sinai Peninsula, and they're getting very close to the blue team's capital. And just how fast can the tide of a war change? Now down south, the Sudanese part of the blue team will rebel, interestingly enough. They do not like being part of the blue team anymore. And they'll just give this land over to the red team. And the red team will be like, no, you don't just do that. And they will work into the new rebellion territory. And they'll invade up it. As the blue team now, they're pretty unstable. They don't usually have too much wars. This is the only war they've ever had, and the citizens don't really like it, so that's why there are so many rebellions. The red team, they all managed to destroy this rebellion in the blue team, which is strange. And then work further up the coast, taking that city and connecting their lands now. And the red team looks like a Goliath force. The blue team, their kind of last ditch effort to win is over here. However, now the red team's cut off all the coast, they're not going to be able to supply this area anymore. And the 20% of the army that was here is getting absolutely bodied by the red team, as they are forced to retreat into this. They then get kicked down into this area over here, and some of them do manage to flee over to the Sinai Peninsula. And that area now is, yeah, that's done. And the blue team's army is now almost completely destroyed. And guess who's going to get on this? Libya, actually, surprisingly, is going to invade the blue team. This is a very surprising action, even though they're like helping them out, but hey, it's free land, so why won't you take it? And then guess who else is going to get involved in this? The greedy country of Albania will get involved in this war. And this is kind of the breaking point for the population, because why are you invading the blue team now? What have they ever done to us? So yeah, the population is very unhappy and it's not looking great. After they do this, the king is getting threatened, saying, we will kill you if you don't stop this. So they'll be like, okay, we'll just stop now. And there we are, they'll be able to take all of this. Libya, the war's war in the country is pretty high. Don't have too much war. Then the blue team's capital will get captured by the red team in the battle of, I guess it's kind of Alexandria. As it is captured, and yeah, the blue team's forces are just going to get destroyed. The king will flee to this major city over here. Actually no, it's this one because that's the closest. But the red team then will be like, nah. And then they'll send a spearhead down capturing this one. He'll manage to flee again over to this one down here. They'll be like, no. And then they'll capture this one. And then he'll flee to the last one over here. As the red team will dash, and just before he can get out again, he is captured by the red team and killed. So that is the end of the blue team. As they officially then surrender, and what is this here? That's no. The blue team will officially surrender, and let's take a look at a peace treaty. This is what we end up seeing after the war. Oh, hold on. But this is what we end up seeing after the war, as yeah, lots of things changed. Firstly, the Anatolians gain a little bit of land over here. It's not too valuable, but hey, it's nice to have, right? And let's now take a look at the monster that is a red team. They are ginormous. They now expand from Somalia up to the Sinai Peninsula. And they are now probably the biggest country in the world, I'd say. Maybe. But yes, very interesting stuff going on over with the red team. They also make a puppet state over here. And the purple team, they'll have a little colony in, I guess, Egypt. And the orange team will expand. But most interestingly is the blue team. They are tiny now. Debating whether or not to make them part of the puppet state of the red team. Nah. We'll leave them as they are. I think they're fine. We also notice another country being made, that is Cyprus over here. And the Cypriots have been formed. I'm actually going to make them the same colour as Cyprus from. But Cyprus has been formed in this timeline. And yeah. Why is there a random major city in the middle of Australia? That is a... Anyway, now the blue team is gone, we can take a look at a bit more exploration. As the Belarusian country will explore a bit more. Guess what? They're expanding a bit as well. They won't take too much land again, because they've already expanded in this episode, but they'll take a little bit more. So all this normal land, and yes. They're now looking pretty big. Also, this island is discovered. And the new Corelia that will be expanded into. This episode is already pretty long. That war with the red team was probably quite a while. So I'm going to try and speed through the rest of the events that are probably going to happen in this video. Japan, they are going to work with this country to kind of expand into this area. As, I guess you call it Manchuria, they'll take all of this land. And then Japan, they're going to make a landing right here. Starting a new colony. Japan is a pretty big colonizer in this universe. They like having land in mainland Asia. They also explore quite a bit more of Siberia. And we'll also see the rest of, not the rest, but a lot more of Asia discovered. And now let's just fill in the rest of Scandinavia, because that deserves to happen, right? And yeah, Sweden, they are the most powerful country in Scandinavia, I'd say. Norway's just behind, but yeah. And these two, it looks like there could be a war breaking out in a bit. We then see something bad happen for the purple team. Malta, they are owned by the purple team. But Malta, surprisingly, of anyone, is going to break away. You see them declare independence over the sovereign state of Malta. The sovereign military organisation Malta, that's what they call it. And yeah, they can actually have a city. As they build a city called Purple Team Hate. Yes, that's what it's called. No, not really, but they'll build a major city in between those two islands. And immediately it will become their capital. Let's now move over to Caspia, as they're going to expand. So Caspia will take all of this land, they'll also take all of this, and now they look absolutely huge. They might be bigger than the red team. That might be a little bit too big for me. I can kind of decrease the size a tiny bit. These two, they are absolutely like lining troops over the border. The entire border with Caspia and the red team is militarized very militarised. Troops on either side just waiting to stab each other with like swords. Well, then no one's looking. No, Belarus will expand the time rate just because they can. But just to make everything worse, I guess, because we've got to do that. Belarus is also going to join an alliance, and that is going to be the Triangle Alliance. And now we see that all three alliances are rivaling each other. You know, Triangle Alliance, they don't like Star Alliance, obviously. Triangle Alliance, they don't like the Circle Alliance as well. And the Circle Alliance and the Star Alliance, I guess it's not too much except like Poland, maybe Albania, Ukraine, also a bit of Poland. And now we also see a little bit more expansion from the East Asian countries. As once I said, I don't think I explained this well enough on the live stream or in the last episode. But China and Shandong, they're kind of rivaling each other. There's a bit of, like I said earlier, with Belarus and Ukraine, there's a bit of a regional rivalry going on with these two. And for our last event, there's going to be a lot of expanding or exploring doing in Africa, as the world will start to get a lot more peaceful after the Red. Well, obviously there's still like troops on the border. But the Red team is kind of on a cool down at the minute. They know that if they attack the LT now, they would lose because they're not fully rejuvenated yet. The entire kind of all the African countries are getting in on exploring Africa, and they're doing good on the sub-Saharan regions, but not on the Sahara because that's a lot. And then the West African Exploration Group and the East African Exploration Group, they also won't be called the same thing. They'll end up meeting up somewhere in the middle after realising that Africa is actually one continent, and this large area of land is explored. And finally, they will explore all of South Africa as well. And the continent of Africa is getting a lot more filled in. We'll also see a few countries pop up down in South Africa. One down here, which is it's got a decent money because it's, you know, just by the coast. There's a yellow one over here in Senegal. They're not as strong, but they're still okay. So this at the minute is what they feel like a world map looks like ish. I'm not going to do these islands, but it looks something like this. So this is what a world map is like. They don't know much about the rest of Siberia, but we're in the, I guess, 800-ish. No, not yet. We're probably in the 600-ish at the minute. That's probably the year we're in. No. I'm going to say we're in the year 452. Just fast forwarded this here. But this is what the world map looks like at the minute in the world. And it does look quite good. They think that the rest of Siberia is an island. They also probably still believe the world is flat. So yeah. And it probably doesn't look exactly the same. Like, I have a world map on my computer and now I'll flash up on screen for you. But it probably looks like there's probably some wonky bits like that also. So actually, I'm going to change what I said. And number one in the world is the Red team. They have built themselves up. This was like when they became the strongest country in the world. Their military was already better than Caspia, but now they have pretty much all this. Their economy is now better than Caspia. And yeah, Caspia, they're also now going to be number 2, so yeah. So Caspia is number 2, and that's not, they're not much different. They're very equal, but Red team is number 1. Much to some people's delight, but not many. And number 3 now, it's actually going to be a pretty interesting one. It's going to be Japan. Now I think everyone expected Albania. For the minute, Japan is stronger because Albania is unrest right now. Unrest. Then number 4, that'll be the Dark Red Union. So the Dr. Number 5 then is Albania. Number 6 will be Germany. Number 7 will be Belarus, actually, surprisingly. Number 8, that is going to be going, this is actually hard. I'm going to give number 8 to, China definitely, yeah. And what China I'm talking about, it's the southern Chinese country. They are China, this is Shandong up here. So yeah, correct terminology to know for these guys. Number 9 then, I'm going to give it to Sweden. And number 10, that is going to, actually going to give number 10 to the Lime team, or Italy. So this is the top 10 rankings, yeah, remember these because they're going to be quite important. Now the first real event we have happening in this video is actually going to be the Red team expanding their African colony they still own this thing somehow, down East Africa. However, this place is one, it's kind of like getting a little bit neglected now because this is like the more populated areas, is what the blue team owned. But But it's still going to expand because, the red team is very land hungry. And they're going to go further down Africa, reaching into like Tanzania. However, the red team now will decide to not actually expand anymore. And they're going to build a few cities. They'll build all of these cities, and also there'll be one here that will be built. And yeah, the red team, they probably have the most cities. And in Caspia, we also see a few more cities being built. So just one up here. And basically, we'll just sprinkle a few more around. Because obviously, during this series, we're going to have more major cities added. Anyway, Caspia is also going to do a bit of expanding. I'll say they'll take all of this land up here. And they are becoming huge at this point. Maybe a bit too big, It's not going great for them. Anyway, we now move down to Anatolia. And they're going to be doing something. Now, Cyprus, they existed. They've existed for an episode now. And they're already going to get invaded by the Anatolians as they get wiped out straight away. And we now have a new strong country, kind of, I guess. They were number 10. No, they weren't number 10. Were they? No, they are number 11 in the world at the minute, if you didn't know. And they will fully annex Cyprus in the peace treaty. And yes, these guys are strong. Anyway, let's go over to Belarus. As they're going to expand down across here, inside of some parts of Russia. I'm actually going to take all of this land and start to expand further up this Russian coast here. Also, we'll fully take over this island. You see this red team over here also start to expand across the Arctic regions. They really don't have the money to do so, and as we know, Scandinavia, it's kind of breaky away. That's not a word, but it's kind of anarchy-ish. Kind of, I don't know. We end up seeing this area now break away from the new Croatian country that appeared in the last episode. And yeah, this whole Nordic region, I guess, Nordic in the series is a bit different in real life. Nordic probably doesn't include Denmark, but it would look maybe something like this. In the series, I think that's a whole like subcontinent. This blue country, it's going to be able to expand a bit with the help of the people, I guess. We'll see two cities made, one here and one here. And the capital will be the most southern one here. Even though it's very close to getting invaded by Belarus. Yeah. Which, as we see, they are number 8 in the world. And we're just going to quickly clean up their borders. So yeah, they are becoming pretty much Russia this series. Kind of. But speaking of them, there's also going to be something weird happen over in Poland. Now Poland, if we actually take this, we can actually look at the trade route map. The trade route map is going to be updated a bit here. As now it is running through Poland. It connects with the capital. And yeah, it's now nearing Belarus. And it'll pass through Belarus over here. Let's see Poland do something a bit stupid, because they have a bit of a dictator in at the moment. We could definitely do an ideology map, but they for some reason declare war on Belarus because they want land, they want more trade route land, even though they have loads of trade routes. So start to invade, and all their allies are like, what are you doing? You're invading a top 10 country. And, these guys, they are part of the Star Alliance, but the Star Alliance, it's not an attack one, attack all alliance. It's an attack one, attack all alliance, but it's not a defensive alliance. But it's not like, if you go to war, we can help you. So they may be supplying them, but definitely not. The Dark Red Union, though, they're not supplying them. They're joining this completely just so they have friends back them up. They could not care less about these guys up here. But Belarus is also part of the Triangle Alliance. So, yeah, German troops now are going to move in. And the Dark Red Union is like, yo, no, you can't do that. Because, when Germany does it, it's a problem. Also see Hungarian troops move in from the bottom. They're taking quite a lot of land, to be fair. And yeah, the reason Poland does this is because they're an idiot. They are an idiot at the minute. Yeah. And Belarus is like, yeah, you're cooked, mate. So they come in and they just demolish these Polish forces, absolutely destroying them. And they take this as a kind of excuse to invade into this country. And now this is kind of taken as a form of aggression. And the Dark Red Union, they're not going to care, but Finland is a bit. So Russia, they'll just decide to take only all of this land, kind of leaving like this. But this is the religion map, if anyone was curious at the minute. This is what it looks like. So yeah, pretty cool. Russia's just going to take all of this land, and then this country will be like, we surrender. Finland, though, they'll start to invade. They'll be like, no, you don't surrender. As they come around this lake, but then the Belarusian forces arrive, and they are just, Belarus, they have one of the best militaries in the world. Kind of like Russia, where like they put all their stuff into their military, not really caring about much else. And they'll capture this major city, and all of this lake actually, before Finland will be like, yeah, we're out of here. Yeah. Now Belarus is going to invade into Poland, and this is one of the deadliest, I guess, forces ever. And eventually it gets so bad that all these other nations, including the Dark Red Union, will send an assassin in to kill the leader of Poland. And yeah, he's dead. They place a new one in charge who decides to end this whole war. Yeah, pretty weird at the minute that they can't like allow people to get land. Anyway, we see Germany be like, hey, we didn't really want this land, this is just for defence. So they take this land. In fact, no they won't. What they're actually going to do is they're going to make a puppet state out of this land over here. This is a triangle alliance or puppet state, so it's kind of controlled by everyone, but it's mainly owned by Germany. However, Hungary, they are actually going to want some land. And the land they want is pretty valuable. It's all of this kind of southern land, which is pretty populated. So yeah, big L for Poland. They got a new leader though, so Belarus then, they're going to take some land that is going to look something like this. Not really too much, but also not little. And then for the other countries, they're not going to be very kind. For the other countries, they're not going to be kind. Take this land from Finland, and then all of this land from Latvia. So, yeah. And Belarus is looking like a monster at the minute. They are massive. So that just happened. So yeah, this is getting interesting, you know, because it was kind of a big war, but the Dark Red Union didn't care. They didn't join it because they can't be bothered. Anyway, we're going to see a connection made, and that is between Libya and Carthage. This is simply for better kind of trade relations, and this is a big boost in the world, as now North Africa and stuff, they properly connect to the rest of the world. And now we can see better trade routes invented, as they continue to run this across the coast of Libya, going further up into Carthage now. Also, the oil team has convinced Ukraine to let them go through their territory and connect up, and Ukraine's kind of a big trading thing to connect all these areas. And the other team, they're managing to complete their Caspian trade route pretty well. They're making themselves have a lot of trade route. Also, Shandong has managed to make the trade route bigger, going now into some Korean areas. This will help their economy a lot, even though it's not going to be very nice because there's a lot of wars going on in this area, isn't there? Anyway, we see Japan start to explore and gain more lands in Siberia. There's no one really up here to stop them, so yeah. So they just take all of this land for themselves. They're not going to build any six passes for it because it's freezing. This blue country will manage to take all of this land over here, and then Belarus, they'll just get all this. Another big event that's going to happen is the discovering of Taiwan by China. But it's not just China, it's also Japan, and this is going to create something weird, as both of these countries kind of want Taiwan. They definitely do. It's pretty valuable, you know. Japan, they probably want it for more southern access down here, and China, they just want it because it's closer to them and they have a nice island. So they are kind of having a bit of a disagreement over this. They never really interacted properly before, but yeah, stuff's gonna go down. Staying in East Asia, actually, we see the pink country expand because they can. I don't think I did Daily Create Update in the last episode, so I'm gonna do one this episode. But the beige country, who is number one in Korea, they're actually gonna take a lot of land being all of this. Will it be number one for long, as there are now rebels in this country, very big rebels that are actually allied to Japan. And these guys, yeah, they're strong. They're going to be able to take pretty much the entire country. Not really, but they're going to take the northern regions, and they'll also pop up in this coastal axis over here. And the Orange team, they want to take advantage of this, but they can't really at the minute. So what they're actually going to do is they're going to go through the pink team's territory, who's weaker than them. They'll take that whole thing over, and then they're going to blast up into this country's area, taking over a lot of it and capturing the capital, making a massive damage thing. This country ends up surrendering, and now the Orange team is once again the strongest country in Korea. So we see the North Korean country take all this, actually looking exactly like North Korea in real life. This red country is actually very big. In fact, you know what? They actually just take over this country. And a new Korea is born, I guess. Something to mention with these guys is they are nationalistic and they want a united Korea. They don't want this whole daily Korea update anymore. They want to unite the, I guess, area, subcontinent, whatever you want to call it. So they will quickly expand, actually more, just what the base country is doing. And they are becoming pretty strong as they may be allied with a certain nation, Japan. And now what does Japan do? Also we have, I didn't know if I mentioned this last week, but this is the map of what they think the world looks like at the minute. It's a bit different now, but it's kind of what they think it looks like. They have Africa down, they have, whoa. They have all these nations now. This is a bit weird, and some other stuff is happening, so yeah. Anyway, we're actually going to see a new alliance created now, which is going to be the 6-point star alliance, or the East Asian Defence League. As Japan will create it with this Korean country over here. Yes, the world is looking a lot different at this point. We are focused on Asia a lot in this episode, but we're actually going to go down here. As I'm going to call it the Majapahit. I'm going to call it not Majapahit. It's going to be called the Malaccan country. So Malacca, the capital. You also see them fully take over these countries here, and they are making money at the minute. They're making some serious bread. Enough money to actually take over half of Borneo, or actually explore half of Borneo. Start to take it over, as they have a pretty kind of weird, risky idea. And this to unite all of Indonesia, even though they haven't really discovered it yet. All they have seen at the minute, they know that there's loads of islands out here, so they're going to rapidly start to explore Indonesia, as they want to unite the whole thing. Are they going to be able to do it? Who knows? Anyway, move over now to the Sahara Desert. Our countries are making a better idea or thing of expanding it, as they have now discovered camels and that they are easier now to explore the Sahara Desert. Start to see like routes that countries are taking to get to this area down here. And I want to say something, this is similar to like the Ghana Empire in real life. These guys, they sell slaves. Yes, it's bad. They sell their own population out to slavery, and they're making money from it. It's obviously awful, but you know, it happens around this time. So we end up seeing like this can happen, where there'll be more and more exploration kind of with routes and stuff. And eventually the whole desert is kind of discovered, and Africa is the second continent to be fully discovered. Next up is Asia, and America's eventually ready. Speaking of Americas, the first landing has been made in Greenland by Germany, and they're not going to colonize it yet because they think this is a whole other continent. They're like, whoa, we might just found something, guys, an icy continent. Another area getting sort of more discovered is the Himalayas, as people they're making like decent cuts down into it, and yeah, it's going great. It's going great for the world at the minute. Anyway, I might end this in a minute, but we now see a few more countries expand, specifically in kind of India area, Perse India, that's what someone called it. By the shout out to Swiss Animations. Switzerland, yeah, that's what it's called. But he made what's it called again? He made an animation of one of my Red Team Fallen Empire, and it's really good. Go check him out. He is an amazing YouTuber, makes some great animations. Go subscribe to him, he's incredible. We also see this Persian country, the New Persia, that's what they call it, New Persia, expand a bit as well. And these two don't like each other as well. Like I said, I think I said that before. But these two don't like each other, so yeah, this kind of Pentagon alliance is going good. What we actually see to end this video off, it's gonna be kind of like what happened with the last one. So the Red Team will invade Caspia, officially starting what will be called the war. Yeah, just the war. Now, this will be a war that will transition us from the ancient period. It's going to be the biggest war in this series so far. Again, I know I say that for every single war, but this is truly the biggest war of this series so far. So without any more hesitation, let's get into this war. See the Red Team start to push in over like a big front line over here, because Caspia was not expecting this. They knew it was going to come at some point, but not exactly now. And the Red Team's military, it's better than Caspia's. Caspia has the better economy, but the Red Team, they have a better military. I don't know why Caspia has a better economy, because I actually know the two routes do connect now. But we do end up seeing the Red Team nearly connect up with the Caspian Sea for the second time in history. And this is the second Red Caspian War, I guess. And it's probably going to be the last, because these two would most likely fully annex each other. Probably won't be like that, but they destroy each other in every single way. Also see the red team work up the Black Sea coast over here, nearing Anatolia, who we know they're a bit salty about everything. They don't really like anyone. It's not just the red team at this point, they don't like anyone. They're completely isolationist. The one place where we do see Caspia winning is over here, where they start sending troops into this area and start doing pretty well. The red team is obviously going to be a bit, thingy by that. But also by this point, their allies have mobilised, and this isn't an attack all alliance. This is one declare war, everyone declare war alliance. That's just what I'm going to call it. So we see the blue Persian country start to move in to Caspia, who is probably the biggest country in the world, I think. Yeah, they probably are. Maybe Belarus could maybe be bigger, but I don't know. We do see the blue Persians start to move in to Caspian territory in the less defended areas. These are pretty new areas of Caspia, so they will be able to. And one thing we also have to address at this point in the series is tribes. Tribes exist. They are all over the place at the minute. The bigger blocks of tribes, this is like a big block of tribes over here. They all like nomadic area. They come over to the border of Caspia, but they aren't quite let in, and they're quite frowned on by Caspia. We also see a pretty big amount of tribes up here. We see a few dotted around in the Sahara, and by the Himalayas, kind of around this area, so we see a bunch. And there could even be some over in America. Anyway, though, we do see Caspia manage to push back against the red team now, as they are moving some more troops from the front line to go defend against Caspia. The red team is a very defensive country. They're a lot like me in Connect 4. They are very good in offensive, but they are much better in actually defensive. The only thing is they've never really been able to use defensive, so now they are, and they're able to push Caspia out. And that's because they are better at their defensive in the recent years. The king they have at the minute, he's a lot more defensive than offensive. He likes defending more, despite the fact he declared war on Caspia, but the red team made something up for that, so yeah. Anyway, we now come over to Europe as another war. Why is this war known as a war of succession? Because it's going to be succession in it. The mistake is made on the side of Hungary. They believe that the purple team is inside of their territory, when in reality they're not. It happens right here. And Hungarians briefly cross into the border, and they say to the purples, hey, what are you doing inside of Hungarian land? And it starts to get bad, and then eventually someone gets their head chopped off, and yeah. Anyway, we went to see the purple team be like, bro, really? And they start sending their armies in. They focus on the areas that they want back, as they want to reform their empire, even though it's still there. But like I said a few times before, rebellions, yes, tensions inside, not yet, but like the purple team is going not very good at the minute. They have some of the worst unrest in the world. As we saw a few episodes ago, Malta broke away. So yeah, lots of bad stuff happening. We also see a kind of spearhead-ish thing happen over here. And there's also going to be a fight between these two now, because it's a circle team. However, Hungary is going to be able to push back over here. As they cut them off from, I guess, this Croatian area. And they also make a move into Italy, capturing a few areas over here. Provinces, actually. Probably province layer, yes. Over here, the purples are going to be able to push back against these guys pretty well. This French country over here, they want some land from it. Everyone wants some land from it. And they capture this capital as well. Well, not the capital, but the city over here. I start pushing deeper into the French team. But it's this point in the war when something pretty detrimental happens. The Dark Red Union will declare war on the Germans, just like, I guess, like hundreds of years ago at this point. But instantly, thousands of Dark Red Unionish troops come in and start taking blocks of German land. Loads of German land. They capture this city and start pushing deeper in, as they want to be the one true power in Europe. And they get right up and close with the capital. It's very dangerous. They ought to easily push through into even like southern German lands. That's how strong they are. You haven't really seen how strong the Dark Red Union is at this point. So we'll also start some fighting between Cornwall and Scotland, which sees Scotland start their invasion of Cornwall straight away, sticking to some of these areas below. And yeah, Scotland is stronger than Cornwall. But now we see some more Russian, I guess, moves. They will now start moving into Ukraine. And remember, a very important fact about this war, the Star and Circle teams aren't at war yet. It's only the circles and the triangles and the stars and the triangles. So we end up seeing some sort of collaboration over here. People team will push up, and Poland then, who aren't very happy with Hungary because they got some land stolen from the last episode, But Poland will push down and connect up, cutting off a pretty valuable area over here. So yeah, this is pretty bad for Hungary, as this was some area that they don't really want to lose. And continuing on this front line, the Ukrainian country will be able to push back up. I know we're focusing a lot on down here at the minute, but let's just get back to it, right? As the red team will actually continue going into this area, and something detrimental is going to happen. A sort of coalition will be formed. As we already know that Caspia doesn't like the red team. They don't really have an alliance, but that's when we see Caspia make an alliance with the green team. It's not just the green team they get. They also get Portugal. I don't know, random country over here. So yeah, that's not great. The red team, after seeing this, is obviously going to be pretty angry. So what do? They go over to East Asia and they get Shandong to join their alliance. And this is pretty good, you know, you can probably, with trade routes. And what we're going to see, what this, I guess, alliance really wants to happen, is them to just roll through Persia right now, so they can get the trade route done. And there's a bit of a kind of succession crisis between these two, that's kind of why it's called the War of Succession. But this Persia believes that they are the real Persia. You know, they have the old capital, they have the same name as this. But these guys believe that they should be actual Persia because they have the old government still. But at the minute, yeah, the Persians are going to get crushed. So the new Persia will go into old Persia, easily just going around it. And it's quite, sad because this is one of the oldest countries in the world. But green Persia will be completely destroyed and outclassed by blue Persia. They encircle this major city, as the red team has much better war tactics than Persia. They have developed new ones which they have shared with this country down here. And they have better equipment and stuff. They're not guns and stuff, but the red team don't have guns. They have sort of I don't know, they have something that you can shoot at people, sort of. It's not quite a gun, but it's something where you can shoot a stick out of a rifle-ish thing. So the red team, they have far superior technology to Persia, and they are sharing it with their allies, which is letting the blue team absolutely destroy them. And then the Indian team as well, they're also in here. They take over all this, and yeah. They also wrap around the capital area of the green team, and it was definitely a big mistake for the green team to join this war, because why would you? But the alliance layer is actually going to get someone else to join the square team. As this country here, they want revenge against the Reds for what happened to them only an episode or two ago. They are done with the red team controlling over the world. And Egypt will join this war. One problem though, Egypt, you're not very strong. Egypt will actually be able to take out all of this they'll take a lot of land with loads of support from the red yellowish teams, I guess, and they kind of liberate this whole puppet state in a way, and they are pushing dead into the red team. This capital, it's very thing. Also, one more thing to mention, the people in this area, they support the blue team. They don't want to be part of the red team, they want to be part of the old blue team. So yeah, but now something pretty bad for the circle team is going to happen. There is a purple team boat which is going around the Black Sea to try and supply areas of Ukraine. They can't quite supply Ukraine at the minute because they're kind of in a war. They could always just go through land, but they need to get, they're trying to find other routes and stuff at the minute. So they go through the Black Sea, and they actually do a pretty dangerous thing. They land right here, and they accidentally land in Caspian land, which will end in Caspia being like, yo, what? And these purple team troops, who are idiots, they actually don't like the government, so decide, hey, let's just bring this thing down in flames, and they'll shoot at these Caspian soldiers that are protecting the waters around here. And Caspia, a few days later, will declare war on the purple team, and the purple team's like, oh no. They are dreading this, because now there's another country at war with them, and yeah, the purple team, the unrest is getting too much, and they are very, very close to a revolution. The people are starting to support them, we're getting some wins over here, that's fine, but now it's getting a lot worse. So purple will try to win over the support of the people again by blasting a bit through Hungary. They also sent another invasion into this, trying to reach the capital, and they get very close to reaching said capital. In fact, they just take the capital, and they immediately start bragging about this, like, hey, we just got the capital of Hungary, it doesn't matter that 10,000 people died, we just got the capital of Hungary. And they're like, yeah, okay, and we start to see a little bit more support go over. And then the lime team will be able to push back against Hungary completely, and even start their own invasion into the purple team. They also start an invasion into Germany, and they are becoming a pretty strong country as they cut this area off from Germany. Now let's look at the Dark Red Union again. they managed to push to the border of Italy and go further and deeper in, capturing out this city. And their armies haven't really been had to use in history. They haven't had to use them, but they just are amazing. And they take a lot of Germany, a lot. And eventually, the Battle of Germany's capital, I guess Hanoverish area, the Battle of Hanover will begin. But this is the only bad thing. German troops will, kind of small amount from every side, will push in from all different types of angles. And they confuse these troops by encircling them in a lot. This is what it ends up looking like. And Germany is using a tactic called, I don't know, you guys make it up. They start kind of taking land and boxing it in a way. And how they do this is they'll have two groups of armies come out and meet in the middle. And then they'll box in this area. And eventually they're able to take back most of this land around their capital. They're able to take back most of the land around their capital. And the Dark Red Union is like, oh no. Because now there's German troops, starting to get better against us. I'm starting to think, hey, oh god. The Dark Red Union isn't doing great. So they'll start to supply Cornwall. And this will go extremely well for Cornwall. They'll be able to push back now against Scotland. Going further up into the UK, catching the old capital of the pink team that was here. I go deeper up into Scotland. Then it hits. Scotland and Wales have been working together and scheming for years now. And what have they wanted to do? They wanted to unite the entirety of the British Isles under one country. The British Isles have been not too peaceful. It's not as bad as Adis' series, but it's not been great. Let's just say that. And these two now decide to band together and take down Cornwall to unionise and create the Great British Empire. Not what we call that, obviously, but still. Cornwall straight away will be like, alright, you want to fight? So start sending some armies into Wales immediately in some of their less areas that and they get pretty close to their capital. But then the Scottish and the Welsh troops hit down. And yeah, Cornwall might be able to take out Wales, not Scotland. And with Wales and Scotland, yeah, they're cooked. See, Scotland focus on these areas down here. Then Wales will sort of cut them off in a way by going down here, but not really big of a deal. Actually, they chase them out over here. The Welsh will also use their Irish colony to make a landing down here in Cornwall. And eventually, the capital is sieged. And the Great British Isles have essentially been united now. We'll see what happens over here in the peace treaty. And for now, this country's like, So now they decide to invade into the French country and their exclave. And they take a lot of it very quickly. It's a country they've always wanted. And yeah, they manage to circle down the capital here. And the circle team is actually working very well with the the star team. And let's get back to this war. This has actually been the war we talked the least about. So we see the yellow team now push back into the red team territories. Now it's just gone to try to get as much land as possible. These countries are being very equally matched, and whenever there's a pretty big front line happening, the yellow team will smash some troops into this area. And whenever there's a big front line over here that starts to happen, the red team will smash some troops into this area. So they are very evenly matched at the minute, and it's just looking which one will break first. I'd love it in the future if someone could animate this war. That'd be insane. Anyway, it's a sad day for any people who like the green team, as their capital has now been cornered off in this Indian area over here, which I don't know the name of. And all this land, they start to realise why the old Persian Empire wasn't a good country, and the new one still isn't a good country, and why Persia broke away. As the massive spearhead now is sent out to capture this major city up here, the last far away one. This major city is taken by Persian forces, and they work their way into here. They managed to cut all this off, and eventually we see an occupation zone, as they'll divide the country, looking something like this. And New Persia will strike in and take the capital of Old Persia. And the third oldest country in the world has fallen. Anyway, let's go back over here, because, I think Caspian now, one of their allies, one of the strong allies, have fallen. They're going to want a new one, and they definitely do. And they're in luck, as over here, China has obviously been rivaling kind of with Shandong for a while. But eventually, some trading things goes on around here, Ocean routes around this area probably look something like this, got Japan and stuff. Going to Taiwan, and yeah, Japan's like the main leader in the trading area over here. We see the Shandong country blow up a boat actually over here, and they believe it's Caspian. They believe it's like square alliance boats for some reason, even though it can't be, but they are idiot country, so hey. And it's actually Chinese, yeah. So China's like, bro, what the hell? And yeah, the war will begin. China's not going to join the square team, but they're just going to kind of demolish Shandong. They are a lot stronger, and yeah, it's not looking good. And Shandong will be like, please, can somebody help us, please? And they're only really useful for trade, and you can still get them through China. So, no one's going to come to the help of this country over here. The second oldest country in East Asia will get their capital encircled and eventually captured. And they are crying because, you know, it's one of those things where you just regret it right after. So they come over here, they box this area in, take it, and then they push up, 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 up. And actually this final area over here will get its city taken. And the rest will decide to just join up with China. So we actually see the true strength of China over here, as they have just overthrown a country which is pretty similar size to them, and have incorporated them now into the empire, kind of, in a way. Anyway, let's get back down here, because this is where some important stuff is going to start going on. Third team is going to start to really focus on some areas over here. I just wanted to get connection to the Caspian Sea, also because this is right above the kind of capital area. So they're going to want to bulk up these front lines a lot, just so they can never get invaded. And eventually, one day, they will be able to get connection up with the Caspian Sea, and cut off circulation between the entirety of the Caspian Empire. This will weaken them, and for a brief moment now, the red team is the #1 country in the world. It doesn't last long, but what does last long is this Persian front line into Caspia. As Persia, they don't really care too much for the red team, but they like them because, you know, they're getting stuff off them. But they're not like great friends, you know, you won't catch them down at the pub every day or something. And they are helping out the red team in a way by carrying some red weight over here, capturing this city even. But now the war between Ukraine will begin, as it's been kind of, like, not really moving over here, but Ukraine will start to be like, okay, we've got to start moving in eventually. So they do, and they will do quite well. Ukraine is not a country that is weak. Ukraine is a pretty decently strong country. They'll be able to kind of start a spearheadish thing. But the Russians up here are doing extremely well against these guys. And they create some sort of thing that looks like this. Also see a kind of back and forth thing over here, as, you know, they'll start to take this, but then Ukraine will blitz back against them. They'll also try and get the Russian capital. They feel like they'll knock Belarus out the wall if they get this. I keep calling them Russia, I don't know why. And I should say Belarus and Finland, they don't care about each other. Same thing with Belarus and Poland, you know, and Latvia-ish. But, you know, these guys are land hungry, they still want some land. So they'll invade into the Latvian country, taking it over quickly. Well, nearly actually. But then something bad will happen, as tribes over here that have been kind of stuck in this country will revolt. I'm going to colour them in like a dark blackish colour at the minute. But the tribes will revolt and wants to kind of just give this land up from Belarus. And that's the reason why you don't really want too big of an empire on this time, because tribes will kind of revolt. And they'll start to take over many cities that Belarus once owned. And sort of create their own sort of country, but not really country. And Belarus will be losing pretty much like half of their land. Luckily though, it's not too valuable, they can live without it. But yeah, this could definitely push in further. These are a lot of people who don't want to be part of Belarus anymore, and kind of want to just give up this land and make it look like this. So we're like, alright, we'll focus on Ukraine first, and then we'll focus on these guys. But yeah, it's not that simple. Good thing for the Triangle Alliance, so it's not really a good thing, but it's kind of a like 50-50 thing going on over here. But Germany will be able to make their first sort of invasions into the Dark Red Union at this point. Getting near to the first capital, then the second capital is probably not going to be reached just down here. Unless they can like make a landing, like a D-Day thing. However, down south, the Dark Red Union is going to continue with their army, doing very well. Someone who's not doing very well is the Purple Team, as eventually they'll get cut in two over here. Also, they'll lose the capital of Hungary. And other people are like, as all these pockets will start to fall, and they'll be like, yeah, it's going fine, guys, it's going fine, don't worry. 9 team will get kicked out. And then, like, I swear to God, if we are losing right now, we're going to destroy this country and we're going to bring it down into flames. And eventually, the country will be brought down into flames. That's a huge revolution. Wanting a new Albania will begin. We'll see them move into the Greece areas. And this isn't one country. These are loads of kind of rebellions. And they're all going to be their own separate countries. They don't want to stay as one country. But there is one kind of special one. And this wants a change of Albania's government, and this will just be Albania. They'll keep it probably just looking something like this. But the rest of the areas of Albania will fall over to this new kind of rebellion, which wants it's a load of different countries. And Albania has fallen, but they are going to give a bit of land to Hungary, and it's kind of like reparations saying, sorry that we did this. So I'll give them all of this. And yeah, I'm going to be using the regular, in fact, no, I'm just going to have them completely coloured in. So Albania has fallen. We see this Turkish country quickly invade into the Albanian Turkish claims, as they'll do something like this straight away. Then see Italy be like, well, what do we do here? Because, we don't want Albania to, someone else to take these claims, but would they really want us to take this? Yes. And Albania, they still kind of exist, and the people, and the Albanian, people are like, why? We were your ally. Why are you now invading us? And then they start invading into the Spanish claims, and it's like, oh god, these guys don't like us anymore. As they have betrayed the Albanian Empire, and Italy will now go deep into Albanian territory, taking over the Algerian colony, or they're probably just going to make that their own country, like a puppet state. And they dig deep into the Spanish colony, and giving a little bit of land to Portugal. Portugal will take about quite a bit of land, being like this. And these two now, they start to establish good diplomatic relations. But over here, the Dark Red Union is getting beaten back, and now their front lines don't really have a way to get connection to their homeland. Oh, actually, this down here as well. Oh, this will be taken over by the blue team. They'll be able to take over the rest of this colony, and they'll also be able to take the entire puppet state. Yeah, but the blue team, they are very military focused at the minute. The people want this area back. They don't want to be part of the red team's stupid puppet state anymore. Yeah, now they are pushing into actual red land. And the red team, they're losing support as well. Like, no country really, morale is going good at the minute. Also see Poland move into the German occupied puppet state of their old part of their old country. They'll gain it back and they won't do anything else. They'll also get this land invaded by Hungary, but Hungary don't really feel like invading these guys. But eventually, it's just really Germany and the Dark Red Union have something against each other. These guys don't really care too much. Except for Ukraine and Russia, that's the different one. Belarus, sorry. Oh my god. But the reason why they want this explained in the last episode is for religion. As you can see, the religion of Ukraine is mostly a Russian one. And it's also part yellow. So what we end up seeing is kind of funding for Caspia to, they managed to get this land and then start invading from here. Getting all the kind of areas that have religion, their religion, which is up to here. And they'll kind of split Ukraine up with Russia. And they'll be able to push back against here, and Ukraine is collapsing at this point. They're not doing good. And we end up seeing Belarus now push down into Crimea, grabbing the capital of Ukraine, and Ukraine's government is officially destroyed. It's probably just executed. HD Poland being like, hey, we declare war on the Circle team now, and they take this land out, kind of. This is probably just going to be made into its own country. And does the Line team care about this? No, they don't. Now, why does the Line team not care about this? That's because they have just left the Circle Alliance. So does Albania, obviously, and now the Circle Alliance no longer exists. That's the first alliance to form in this video. And the second one is very close to happening. As the Dark Red Union is now, this is going to very much upset some people, but it has to happen for the series. The same thing with the Purple Team is happening in the Dark Red Union, and France will revolt, taking the French capital. We then also see an Orange one revolt, taking the Dutch capital once again. And the union between these two is falling apart. We see the French British country manage to push back a bit against this. In fact, just take the whole thing back, kind of. And they also will occupy the exclave of the Dark Red Union. Oh, they'll also gain back all this land as well. And they'll undeclare war on Portugal. Actually, they weren't at war with Portugal, weren't they? We then see the saddest thing happen as the French will push deep into the Dark Red Union's territory. I know I said they left the war, but we do see Italy take a little bit of land, because, they got to take a bit of land nowadays. And I guess it's just Belgium now. As the Dark Red Union will fall, the Dutch kind of area in the country did manage to take a bit of land while the Union was going on from the French. And the Dark Red Union now will officially collapse into the Dutch and French again. I'm actually going to say now, in the peace treaty, these two won't really be punished like the old Empire kind of was in Ada's series. Because this union, it was beneficial for them, and they don't really... the Germans actually, they're a very interesting country. They hold very diplomatic things, and they want these two to be an ally now. So yeah, for that they're not going to punish them. They'll also have a meeting with the Italians And they'll gain this land back in the sort of white peace. And now the European front, I feel like now, is officially over. Russia will kind of sign a white peace with this country. We now see the red team start to really push into Caspia, as they believe that this is their destiny and their final, I guess, thing that they can do. They would die to see Caspia die. Same thing with Caspia. They'd rather die than let the red team live. So they're going to push into this area, using as many troops as they can, just to kill the red team. That's how much these two hate each other. And they'll be able to push pretty far into both. But the red team then will manage to sort of send some troops around. They'll capture this major city, and then they will encircle the capital of Caspia. We see Caspia now be like, oh god. So they'll then send as many troops as they can, but eventually the red team will be able to push further back against Caspia, pushing them out of the city and back to kind of the border area. Caspia will now be fully on the defensive as they move all their troops back from here to try and protect their capital. And the king is trapped in here, by the way. And you're wondering, why can't he just escape to the Caspian Sea? That's because the red team is working up the Caspian to try and encircle it, I guess. So the king can't escape. Also push back over here, but then Caspia will briefly manage to be able to get to here. However, the king isn't able to escape, and he's pushed back. And eventually now, the capital will be completely surrounded. And after the battle of, I guess, Caspia City, the Battle of Caspia City in the year 672 AD, which is actually very late for the ancient era, we see the capital fall over to the red team, and the king is executed then, like, instantly. And tribes will also now revolt from Caspia itself, and this huge massive area will declare their independence, moving down further. And the war is now kind of officially over. The red team has won this war, as Caspia fully collapses. We see the red team now push up more into Caspia and encircle around the Caspian Sea. Then, as the red team's armies are pretty much completely down now, they're like completely dead at this point, there's not really any army left. We see the Anatolians, who have built up their army for years, training for this exact moment, to now push into the red team. And the red team, they never saw this coming, ever. We still have the blue team also advancing, in a way. And the red citizens now are sick of war, and yeah. We see Djibouti declare independence from the Red Empire in a way. I guess all the East African colonies. They'll take all of this land. Also see a blue country down here. This is very bad for the red team. These obviously aren't the exact colours it's going to be used to the end, but for now I'm just going to use them. As the Anatolians will push down past the Sinai. And it's eventually done. We see the Holy City country, or I guess Oman, UAE, declare their independence. Now this isn't the same one. This isn't the same blue team that we'll see from episode 1. It's just not. Different government, maybe same name, but it's called the Holy City Union. We then see, to much people's, I guess, people like this country, we see the brown team come back. We also see the dark purple country that was over here come back. And the pink country will come back. And the red team at this point is dying. You then see the Anatolians push over, connecting up the Caspian Sea, taking as much land as they can. There's also a brand new rebellion, which calls for the end of the Red Empire and the new Red Republic. Yes, not really democracy, but the Red Empire come to an end. It called for the anti-end, or the end of the Red Empire. And we can see that in the provinces right here. They will take all of these provinces around this area. Also take some of the brown team land I messed up there. They'll take all of these areas, including the Metopia. Eventually the king will be slain over here. And even more rebellions will come in. And they will be anti-red team, obviously. There are many different rebellions, so yeah. And the Anatolians will push in even further against the red team. At this point, now capturing their capital, the team will be like, okay. And they'll also move into this country, taking it over, in a way, kind of. And yes, Caspia does collapse to the outside forces, not to the red team. And the Anatolians will be able to push further now into the red area over here. And, yeah, it's done. It's over. As now Persia will be like, oh god, no. As they don't want the red team to fall over, you know. They still want some lands. And now, they will take or occupy these lands, going as far as they can into the red team to try and save the country in a way. But it's over, as now the Anatolians will take the rest of this land. And the occupation zones will look like this, for now. And yeah, we can see just how bad this war was for the red team. And now the War of Succession will officially end. And a brand new world will be drawn up. So basically what happened here, we have to do it like this now. You can see there's still a pencil there, but the map that I have at the minute is updated. It's a lot different. I don't want to spoil the next few episodes, so we're just gonna have to deal with this, unfortunately. We can see that the red team has been pretty much fully divided. We can see down here the this is the former capital of the red team. This is like the new country now. We can see the Metopian area has been fully divided by, surprisingly enough, the green lime team for some reason. We'll see how they look in a minute. And the Anatolians, who are, I'm going to say, the strongest country in the world. I'll do power ranking in a second. We can see the brown team and the light blue team also come back. And Egypt is once again great. These guys right here, these are technically Ukraine. Ukraine kind of flee to this area after they got annexed by Russia. You can see Crimea there. That's owned by Russia totally, yeah. Oh yeah, also Caspia's capital got split up. There we go. Now move over to, I guess, central, not really, I guess the Persian area. This is the blue country, the blue Persians, but I decided to make them green because it's just, you know, easier to follow. Persia is green in this, so I just wanted to kind of, you know, but remember, this is the blue country. This isn't the green team. This is the blue team. I'm just making them green because it looks better. Also, India, yeah, they split the rest of the OG green team. Yeah, cool. Now we move on to the Mediterranean area. We can see the Turkish claims of the Albanians got given over to Anatolia. We also see Albania get completely split up, and this is one of the only major powers that didn't actually get divided. You know, they still exist here. They are, you know, just a different government and a lot smaller now. We also see this Algerian country here. They got their independence, and the Lime team, or Italy, they are huge. They are the second strongest country in the world. They took over a lot of this land here from Albania. This is the former Spanish colony. They took a lot of that. They also took Sardinia and Sicily, and also the southern Italian colony of the Albanians. And now finally, yes, it's a bit funky. Albania's still here, but just ignore that. This is the northern, I guess, European area. These two French countries are here, also united. I forgot to say that, but yeah, they did unite. We also have the British Union, finally. They are a thing. The capital is down here in Yorkshire. And yeah, they are the Welsh and the Scottish country united after they defeated Cornwall. And that's what happened with them. We also have the Dutch and the French being released now. So yeah, W. And I don't know, I think Hungary and Poland somehow gained some land. I honestly don't know. But yeah, that's the peace treaty. Yeah, I'm sorry for the low quality of this, but it's gonna have to do. Because, you know, I don't want to show what happened in the next few episodes, because that'd be a massive spoiler, and there's a lot that happens in the next few episodes. So yeah, yes. But yeah, I really hope you guys have enjoyed this one. This has been taking a while to edit. I finally just finished. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you in the next one. Civilization started over. Bye bye.